Hello everybody, today I will be answering the four main questions for the creative critical reflection part and about my project. So the first question is, how does your product use or challenge conventions and how does it represent social groups or issues? Now, when it came to our title of the social issue, we weren't sure what words to use to call it. What we wanted to do was put emphasis on the frauds of fake psychics and spiritualists and how they fool and they manipulate people. So after a lot of research, a lot of arguments, what we agreed on was manipulation through fake claims of necromancy and black magic. Now, this was an issue that was largely neglected by the media and the society. Its negative effects are largely downplayed as it is considered somewhat controversial in our society. The root causes of this issue are manipulation and desperation of people who feel hopeless and lost and rely on these highly manipulative and influential people who claim to have supernatural powers for closure. Another very important thing was that most of the group members, we've had first-hand experiences with such issues. We've seen people in our surroundings, for example, who have been fooled by these people. And it's mostly those people who do not have enough means to go see a doctor or a psychiatrist or a therapist. So what they do is that they go to these people who take advantage of them and end up fooling them and manipulating them and taking so much of their possessions, their money, and so much more than that. We really wanted to show the contrast between the oppressors and oppressed through our photography. A group member, Cheyenne, for example, his maternal grandfather is an ex-psychic, so we had a lot of help. We knew what we were doing. One thing I believe is very important to highlight is that when we were doing our research, I was unable to find any magazine on such dark topics or which was addressing such topics. We did come across films or articles and series on dark topics, but when it came to magazines, I was unable to come across any such type. So we didn't have any magazine for our inspiration. However, we did use film covers or clips of movies for that. This showed how unusual this topic was and how much it added to our claim of it not being highlighted enough in the media. When it comes to the codes and conventions, we did follow a very generic style of magazine. However, while I was doing my research, I noticed that when psychics or such spiritualists were being portrayed in the media, it was always men who were being, portrayed as the psychics. And even in our society, my local community, when we see any TV shows regarding this topic or any movie or anything, it's always male people, male actors who are doing that, or even in actual real TV shows, it's always male psychics. So I wanted to include the women aspect as well. As for the inspirations, as I said, this is a film poster that we used for inspiration, and these are a few more images that we used for inspiration. Whenever it comes to horror movies or stuff that's very dark, it's usually the darker shades of reds and blacks and usually the blues, very dark blues. I wanted to keep that element there as well, but also to include some lighter shades that I had white and beige, and I feel like these colors really complement each other and together it made a really fine product. The second question is, how does your product engage with audiences and how would it be distributed as real media text? When deciding the topic, we were really stuck between three main themes. We wanted to go for drugs, child marriages, and the third one is this manipulation through black magic claims. So we made Instagram polls and we made Google Forms, which we distributed among or people of all age groups, because our product is not limited to only one age group or is not for one specific group. It's for the generic general audience. It's for everybody, because we believe everybody has the right to have this knowledge and there's no age that is right for this knowledge. So what we did was we distributed the Google Form links, and we made our teachers, our class fellows, our relatives, our younger siblings, everybody. We've made everybody fill in the forms to know their opinions, and to our surprise, they chose this topic. After that, we went in our school and we asked people of different age groups if we made a magazine on this topic, would they want to read it, would they buy it. We were happy to know that people said yes, and they agreed to read and buy this magazine because they also realized how important and significance this topic holds and how neglected it is. I'll include a few video clips of people who gave their opinions when they were asked why would you want to read a magazine on this topic.
Why I and people should read magazines related to black magic. First off, I shall begin by saying that black magic is actually a rising issue. In fact, globally, in several countries, people hold strong beliefs in black magic, and hence they go to people who pretend to be practitioners and they pretend to be experts in black magic, and they're basically fakes. So people pay huge amounts to these fake practitioners to have their wishes fulfilled, which is really very wrong. Hence, there should be a magazine that posts regularly on such incidents and explains stuff related to black magic, so that these incidents would be stopped and people would actually be aware of all those fake practitioners. So I would really appreciate if there's a magazine related to black magic, and it would also, on the other hand, be really, really very interesting to read. Thank you.
When it comes to the distribution of the magazine, since we live in a digital world, we made an online version of the magazine and we wanted to post it on different blog sites and sites where people post their magazines. In the start, we were very reluctant and hesitant because it was a very new topic. It wasn't anything like your usual magazines. So with a new topic, with a new product comes more risk because you're not sure if the audience would accept it or not. So this risk was involved. However, we decided to take the step because of the overwhelmingly positive response that we received, and we decided to move forward with it and to make it. We made our cover very catchy because humans are naturally very curious. So, for example, they see our magazine in a bookstore, all they can see is the cover. They like it, they like the cover, they'd want to know what's inside, so they'd buy it. So this was one of the few marketing strategies and distribution strategies that we've studied, along with the audience theories and everything that we went through in order to make sure we had the perfect marketing strategies if we market this. The third question is, how did your production skills develop throughout this project? Now, before this project, I had no prior experience in graphic designing or photography. I'm more of a person who loves filmmaking and is into videography and making videos of everything. But when it came to photography, I had zero experience. So this project allowed me to explore areas in photography and graphic designing, and it allowed me to, go through new softwares like Photoshop. Previously, when it came to editing apps, my experience was very limited to Lightroom or Snapseed, which I used to, edit my own photos and stuff like that. As I said, my editing skills were very limited to, all the basics editing skills a normal person would have. However, using these professional softwares was something that I've never done, and creating a product entirely from scratch was very new to me. So this was very enriching. We learned how to use cameras and all the technicalities, ISO, shutter speed, the color temperature, the aperture, and how to, keep everything in mind to take the perfect photographs. A very, 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 very important thing that I learned through this project was teamwork, was cooperation, tolerance, and patience in everything. Because when you're working in a team, not everything is according to what you like. You have to make sacrifices. You have to know what the other person is saying. You have to keep their opinions in mind. You have to respect them as well while doing what you want to do. So it is not easy, but we managed to do it, and I feel like this project was very helpful in teaching us how to work together as a team. We did face a lot of problems, such as our main location for the shoot, which was the graveyard. We were not able to shoot there because of many reasons, such as we weren't allowed to, one, and two, we thought it wasn't morally correct. Other than that, one of our team member, Nakash, left after the mock shoot. And there were a lot of problems, but we learned you always need to have a plan B. You need a backup. So that was something that we learned, and it was a very important life lesson. Other than that, for the technical stuff, we learned the rules of composition and angles and everything, and it really just helped us with the photography and all. One last thing that I think I need to add is that production is so much more than just shooting and editing. There's props, there's costumes, there's makeup, there's lighting, there's 1,000 things that you need to take care of. And since I was doing my final shoot individually, I had to do everything by myself. And it wasn't easy, but it just allows you to explore all types of genres and do everything. All of it really helped us, and it will continue to help us in the future as well. The final question is, how did you integrate technologies, software, hardware, and online in this project? I feel like from start to end, this entire project was just possible because of the technologies. Starting from the internet, we used Google and YouTube for research purposes. Then we had our online meetings on Zoom and Google Meet. We didn't have to wait till the next day to go and meet each other to have our meetings and discuss everything. We just, have our meetings online. Other than that, we made our online version on Issue. We used Photoshop for editing. We used websites such as daphone.com and other websites for downloading the typefaces and the brushes for Photoshop, because I personally used a lot of brushes in my magazine. So all of this was just possible because of all these technologies. Other than that, we used a lot of equipment such as mirrorless cameras and GoPro, reflectors and lights, everything. Also, we used social media platforms such as Instagram for our polls. We also used YouTube and other platforms to DIY stuff. Internet really helped because we weren't scholars when it came to all of this. So for example, there was this one time when I was making the first edition of my magazine cover, I was using layer mask to take the text behind the image, but the color of the hair and the background was the same. It was all black, so it wasn't able to automatically detect where the image ended. So I had to watch tutorials on YouTube, and it helped me to know the difference of the blacks and whites and how to fix everything. So it really helped me to know everything. If I would face any problem, I just go on Google, search everything right there and then, and it'll be done. And on that note, I conclude this vlog. This marks the end of my AS project. See you guys next year with my A2 project. Bye.